To understand borrowing, we use feasible sets and indifference curves. We start in figure 10.2 with feasible sets, or with a feasible frontier, the boundary of the feasible set, which, as you might remember from Unit 3, is the curve that defines the maximum feasible quantity of one good for a given quantity of the other. But here we will think about the quantity of goods now and the quantity of goods later. So the opportunity cost of having more goods in the future is having less goods at the present. Or the opportunity cost of having more goods now is having less goods later. This is what borrowing allows you to do. It allows you to consume more today, but then consuming less tomorrow, because you will need to repay your loan. This figure will illustrate this for Julia. Assume she would like to consume now, but she doesn't have any money for this. In the next period, later, she will have $100, which is denoted on the y-axis as her endowment then. Let's also assume she can borrow money at the interest rate of 10%, which is the price of bringing some buying power forward in time. Then she could, for example, borrow at most $91 and consume this amount now. How do we know that 91 is the maximum? If you multiply 91 by 1.1, you get 100, which is what she gets later. So she's just able to repay her loan. We can draw other combinations of Julia's capacity to consume things now and later. At the interest rate of 10%, she could, for example, consume 70 now and 23 later. Or she could consume 30 now and 67 later. All of her possible combinations of consumption now and consumption later gives the feasible frontier, which is the boundary of the feasible set when the interest rate is 10%. With an interest rate of 10%, the opportunity cost of spending $1 now is that Julia will have to spend $1.10 less later. So 1 plus R is the trade-off between current and future consumption, the marginal rate of transformation. Now, suppose that the interest rate is higher. Let's say it's 78%. At this interest rate, Julia can borrow a maximum of 56. What would then happen to the feasible frontier? The slope would be bigger, so the feasible frontier goes inward and the feasible set becomes smaller. That illustrates that with a higher interest rate, the capacity to consume in the present is smaller.